Example 3, finding a maximum and minimum values. Tell whether the function has a maximum or minimum value, then find the value. Letter A, y equals x squared plus 4x minus 1. So first of all, tell whether the function has a maximum or minimum value. If I look at my function and I was thinking about graphing this, do you notice that your a value is positive? If your a value is positive, that means that your graph is going to point up. Well, if your graph is pointing up, then we know the vertex is going to be at the bottom. And if the vertex is at the bottom, we know that this is a minimum value. So first of all, on letter A, I know that I'm dealing with a minimum value. But the question is, what is that value? In order to do that, we're going to find the vertex, which means we're going to complete the square and put this into vertex form. So, step 1, I need all of my variables, specifically here my x values on one side and my constants on the other. Now I know we have a y, that's okay, leave him over here. So plus 1 plus 1. Y plus 1 equals x squared plus 4x. Now, my leading coefficient here on my x is positive 1, which is good, so we're ready to add our blanks. Y plus 1 plus blank equals x squared plus 4x plus blank. We find our b value, we cut it in half, so half of 4 is 2. I'm going to circle that, I'm going to square it. 2 times 2 is 4, so I put 4 in both blanks. Over on the right this time, I'm going to factor, which that becomes x, the positive 2 falls into place, squared. And then over on the right, we're just going to combine like terms. So we have a 1 and a 4, which is going to be 5. So this is y plus 5. Now, at this point, I have to get my equation back to y equals. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. Y equals, you can't actually subtract 5 from a set of parentheses, so we're just going to put quantity x plus 2 squared and put the negative 5 on the end. Now that we have it in this form, and we did this by completing the square, we can find our vertex. This is vertex form. And remember, transformations tell us that this is going to move to the left 2, and this, the negative 5, is going to move it down 5. So our vertex is at negative 2, comma 5. If we just look at that graphically very quickly, negative 2, I'm sorry, down 5, that's a negative 5, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we said that our parabola, because our a value is positive, points up, would look like that. So we already said that there was a minimum, so this is a minimum at y equals negative 5. Letter B, y equals negative x squared plus 2x plus 7. So starting out just like we did before, the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 7 from both sides. Y minus 7 equals negative x squared plus 2x. Now, on this example, we have another problem, and that other problem is that on your x squared, your a value has to be positive 1. So in order to do that, I'm going to divide everything by a negative 1. That's going to change it to a negative y, a positive 7 equals positive x squared minus 2x. Now I have a positive 1, so I can complete the square. Negative y plus 7 plus blank equals x squared minus 2x plus blank. We find our b value, which is negative 2, cut it in half, which is negative 1. Square it, which is positive 1, and we fill in both blanks. On the right-hand side, we're going to factor, which is going to give us x minus 1 falls into place squared. On the right, we're going to combine like terms, so we have a negative y, and then 7 plus 1 is plus 8. Then we have to get our y back by itself, so I'm going to subtract 8, which is going to leave me with negative y equals, in parentheses, x minus 1 squared, and then put your minus 8 on the end. Now, this one has one more step because of this negative. So I'm going to divide by negative 1. I'm going to divide by negative 1. I'm going to divide by negative 1. That's going to leave me with y equals. When you're putting a negative 1 in with parentheses, remember order of operations say that you have to square first. So you can't actually divide this negative 1. So you just put it in the front, and then your parentheses are still x minus 1 squared. The parentheses and the squared don't change, just the sign in the front. Negative 8 divided by negative 1, positive 8. Now that we're in vertex form, I know that my vertex is at positive 1, positive 8. Remember, inside the parentheses goes opposite. I also know that because my a value is negative, that my parabola will point down. So my vertex is up here at 1, 8. And I know that I have a maximum at y equals 8.